Three, two, one, and we live. BT, how are you, brother?
Hey, what's up, Dan? I'm good, and you?
I'm good, thank you. Welcome back to the Juice Ready Experience. This is number two, and I'm just talking to BT today. We do culture, we do current affairs, and today BT's got some special things that he would like to share with us.
Yes, sir. Going back in the archives.
We're digging right back into the archives. BT, do you want me to open up those pictures and let's start chatting?
Yeah, let's go. Show us what you got.
So we are digging way back into the archives here. So BT, tell me a bit more about this picture.
Yeah, that's the South Africa mixed team. Played against Argentina in 1966, and they beat Argentina 5-0. And what's significant about this picture is that South Africa was never allowed to play. Was never allowed to play against international teams because of apartheid. But in this case, Argentina was touring South Africa, and they said they'll only play South Africa if it's like a proper South African team, not like a whites only team or a blacks only team. So the government at that time made exception on this day to give them 7 days to put together the team. The coach of the team was Roy Bailey, Gary Bailey's father. So he had 7 days to prepare the players, the best NFL players and the best NPSL players. And in this team, you can even see Jomo Sono there in the middle, standing in between Stuart Lilly. Can you recognize him?
Yes, amazing.
Jomo Sono scored like 3 goals in this game.
Amazing, yes. This is not the game where he left, I'm thinking of someone else. No, yeah, Jomo Sono, he left his wedding halfway through to play, but that wasn't this game, right?
Yes, that was actually a club match between Orlando Pirates and Highlands Park.
Sorry, yeah.
So, we'll get to that. We'll get to the Highlands Park when they joined the Black NPSL League.
Yeah.
Where now we have these situations where players had to leave weddings at halftime to go save their team.
But I have a lot of respect for Argentina for saying, we don't want to play your second best team. We want to play your first 11, and we don't care what color they are. We don't care what color their skin is. I think we owe Argentina a bit of gratitude because this is the type of thing in sports that helps people come together and forget about political bullshit. So do you want to carry on talking about this pick, or should I move on to the next one?
I can move on to the next one. I think we covered.
Cool.
So just quickly while you move on to the next one.
Yeah.
That match gave way to like now the talks when the clubs decided to come together and said, actually, let's break down the racial barriers and have one uniform or one multiracial Premier Soccer League in South Africa.
Okay.
So that's the significance of that game. That it gave like all teams, all the uniform multiracial Premier League. And 77, that's when the NPSL started. But before we get to that, like I mentioned the last time, there was different Premier Soccer leagues or Premier Soccer leagues in South Africa, and it was based on color. So you had your NFL, which was your white Premier Soccer League, and then you had your NPSL, which was your black Premier Soccer League. And in NFL, Highlands Park was the dominant team. They won their league 8 times between 1960 and 1977. That was a record time, or record times that any team has won that league. And in the NFL, there were teams like Cape Town City, Wits, Arcadia Shepherds, which is now called SuperSport United. A lot of the teams that were in the NFL don't exist today because they never crossed over to the NPSL when that time came in 1977.
Okay, amazing. I'm going to go to the next one. Here's Rex Evans. Talk to us about Rex Evans.
Yeah, so now Rex Evans was the chairman of Highlands Park. From the beginning, Highlands Park was like a pioneering team, a revolutionary team in terms of like even contracts. Before Highlands Park came, clubs never had like professional contracts that they gave to players. But when Rex Evans came with Highlands Park, he wanted to make sure that everything is what he sees or what he saw in the English Premier League. He was a well-traveled man, Rex Evans. He used to be a card dealer. He used to go on card dealerships. And Highlands Park was actually made up of South Africans, but also retired EPL players. There was a Brazilian player. The coach, Joe Frickleton, he was from Scotland. So Rex Evans had scouts all over the world, basically, is what I'm trying to say.
Yeah.
And yeah.
So I was going to say, we covered Joe Frickleton a bit last time. What does it mean when you say he's like a global card player? What does that actually mean?
A global what?
Card player.
Where did I say that?
What did you, when you first spoke about Rex Evans, what did you say he does? A car player, card.
Oh, a dealer, car dealership.
Car dealer. Well, car dealership. So he does. Oh, so he deal. Oh, I thought you said he's a card dealer, like a casino guy. Oh, he's a car dealer. No. Oh, he's a car dealer. Okay.
So that's how we actually used to get recruit players. Used to give them nice prices. Okay. So cool. All the Highlands Park players had flashy cars and it was also a good way for him to advertise his cars. He has all these players all suited up and everything. So those are the sort of things that he was doing with Highlands Park in those times. And what that does, it forces other teams to also get to that level.
Okay, cool. My bad. That was my misunderstanding. Should we go to the next one?
Yeah. So this is Kaizer Chiefs versus Highlands Park, right, in 1978. So what happened in 1977, or after the aftermath of that 1976 match, Argentina versus South Africa, Rex Evans was the one who spearheaded, like the campaign for like a multi-racial league. And he first went to the sports minister of that time, and he suggested that, no, look, we just had this match where we beat Argentina 5-0, and there's lots of potential for having one multiracial league, and all the teams are keen for it. So can we do it? And the sports minister was like, yes, you can do it. We won't stop you, but we won't support it. Yeah. Meaning, like, there won't be like no, say government support, like facilities and all of that.
Yeah, there won't be a budget.
Yeah, there won't be a budget. Okay. Which, so that never stopped. It carried on. The Highlands Park eventually went to go join the NPSL, along with a few other NFL teams, to then form the NPSL, which is like multiracial. And so the teams that joined the multiracial league Wits was also part of it. And like I said, Arcadia Shepherds. Some of the teams I never joined ended up being, they never had competition to play against, I guess. The NFL became watered down and the NPSL became and then what that also did, it also brought in the big sponsors. Like, that's when big corporate, the numbers were with the NPSL, if you think about the numbers in the townships, in the Black South Africa, that was so the numbers were there. So when Highlands Park moved there, and along with the other NFL teams, it just gave like a lot of incentive for basically advertisers to come and be part of the game. So in this picture, as you can see here, this was a Mainstay Cup. So Mainstay obviously came in and was like, hey, let's do a cup. Let's get the people in. And look at the crowd, it's packed. So imagine how much money they'll be making from.
Yeah. So is this sort of like for the first time when corporate sponsors were getting themselves onto the jerseys of the players?
Yes, at this extent, because before the NPSL was very much like it was played in the townships. It's very like informal, and had its own economy actually.
Okay.
And NFL, like I said, the numbers weren't that big enough for like corporate to go in like big time, because it was like a niche market basically. So yes, teams were sponsored before the NPSL era after 1976, but it wasn't at such a large scale as when it all came together, because like I said, there's bigger numbers now when you're speaking multiracial.
And do you think we beat Argentina 5-0, which is what started this? Do you think if Argentina had beaten us 5-0, this might have taken longer?
But also on the other hand, like having spoken to a few the guy like this guy Martin Cohen that played there. He says like they would have never lost to any team. They would have played Portugal, they could have played Brazil, they could have played anyone. So just like the spirit of what they were doing, like it was impossible to lose.
Amazing.
The soccer fraternity in itself was like, so losing was not an option basically.
Yeah.
If we had to lose, it would have meant a lot of things. It would have meant like maybe we're not talented, maybe multiracial doesn't work, or maybe like whites only must play or blacks only must play. But
we won.
It was impossible. Yeah, it was impossible to have it.
Yeah. Okay, that's amazing. Okay, I'm gonna go to the next one. Talk us through this one, yeah.
So this is 1983. 1983, probably like one of the last pictures of Highlands Park taken, because this is like now when Highlands Park had to shut down. And the reason why they had to shut down is because the city sold their stadium to developers.
I remember we spoke about this last week. Yeah, we spoke about this last week. So I'm gonna blame FW de Klerk for that one, even though he wasn't in power yet.
It was PW Botha by then.
That guy.
Crocodile.
I mean, not a lot of people respect PW Botha these days, but what a dick.
So that was like a huge blow for Highlands Park, and I guess like you could see it as like almost like a cheap shot by the government at that time for Highlands Park role in trying to bring everybody together.
Yeah.
So yeah, when the stadium was sold and they built a shopping mall, there was that's like Anfield being sold, and they're building they must build a shopping mall there. The Corp, imagine like now there's Edgar's there at Corp.
Well, I was gonna say, I hope nobody goes to that shopping mall and they don't make any money.
It's quite busy, bro. But that's the thing. We don't know history. So I mean, at least like now that there's awareness, people can be like, hey man. But yeah, that was the end of Highlands Park. and what do you know Jomo Cosmos?
Yeah.
Yeah. So what happened is that Rex Evans knew that Jomo Sono wanted to have his own team because Jomo Sono is a Orlando Pirates legend, right? So Orlando Pirates, and then in that match, in that 76 match, he shined, got the scouts, and he got bought by a team called New York Cosmos in America. And then when he came back to South Africa, he wanted to basically take over Orlando Pirates, but that wasn't possible. We'll get to that another time. But so instead of like buying or taking over Orlando Pirates, Rex Evans was like, my team is going to be shut down anyway, so you can use the club license. So to speak, like what happened to Wits now?
Yeah. Well, what happened to Wits? I know that Black Leopards became Cape Town City.
Yeah. So something like that, whereby they just Jomo Sono bought the status.
You buy the franchise. Yeah. It's not the franchise.
Yeah, the franchise.
You buy the license, basically. Yeah.
Yeah. And then that was the end of Highlands Park. But then the players were then like disintegrated to different teams. So some of the players stayed at with Jomo Sono. Like there's a guy called Larry De Freitas. He actually made his debut for Highlands Park at 16. And then at like 18, he got scouted by Arsenal. He went to Arsenal for trials. And in the middle of those trials, he had to come back to South Africa. Guess for what?
Go to the army? I don't know.
Yeah. Oh. So he had to come back to go to the army, and he couldn't go back again to Arsenal so he ended up playing for Highlands Park all those times. So he could have been a Arsenal legend for all we know, but again.
Crazy. Conscription ruins everything.
Yeah, and he was saying that at least they had a soccer team there, the National Defence Force, they had a team, so they kept fit.
Yeah.
And they understood that as a footballer, so they allowed him as much as possible to play, and they even organized like a league there for footballers. But yeah, that was a big.
So, I mean, seeing as though this is an educational session, what currently is going on with Wits? I need to brush up on my PSL knowledge.
Oh, so Wits, there's a team there's a businessman from like Limpopo, Venda.
Okay.
Wits sold their status to them in Venda.
Okay.
So the team is called TTM. They were competing in the NFD last year. They're still competing in NFD. But a lot of times, like teams or soccer owners in South Africa, they just want to buy their way to the top. So, and they were like mid-table. They're sitting mid-table somewhere currently. So they're not guaranteed to go to the PSL.
Okay.
So instead, they bought the status of Wits.
So
Wits is no more.
I see. So does that guarantee them automatic passage to the PSL?
Yeah, no. So like they just erase the name Wits and they put TTN.
I have to say I'm not happy about this, but I understand that's the way it works currently. But something doesn't seem right. But then again, in the EPL, you've got your Chelseas and you've got your Cities, and if someone has $1 trillion from selling oil, they can also buy the best players in the world and win.
But they don't relocate it. Imagine that to relocate Chelsea to Liverpool to add a third giant.
Keep going. Go further north. Chelsea can get relocated all the way to Scotland for like.
So that's the difference. The difference is that the overseas, when business guys get into football, they at least try keep the culture of the club.
Yeah.
But they take it to another province.
Sure, exactly. Well, yeah, that's what happened. Well, anyway, that's what happened with City. But I'm quite a fan of City. I mean, I said it. I said it. I'm supposed to be an Ajax fan
Cape
because
Town City.
yeah. I mean, and I am an Ajax fan, but I'm also a City fan. We'll move on. Cool. BT, tell us a bit more about this one. Who are these guys?
Yes, so that's the A team.
Yeah.
That's the A team.
Blackpool.
The brains behind Giant Blackpool. There was a team back in the day called Giant Blackpool. They lasted 15 years only, but again, they were like a groundbreaking, pioneering team. And the reason why like this picture is so significant, or the A team is so significant, is that they revolutionized the administration of football teams in South Africa. Because before that, football teams were run very like spaza shop, like from the boot of your car, literally. Like you ran your car was like your office, and that's where. And in those days, you had something called the preza, which is short for the president or president. And the preza was the be all and the end all of a team, right? So he was the coach, he was a player, he was the kit manager, he was the driver, he was the financier of the team. So it was everything. And so Jomo Sono, he was an example of that. Because when he started Jomo Cosmos, he was still a player, but there was a coach, but you know what I mean.
He would sub himself on.
Kaizer Chiefs, yeah, Kaizer Chiefs as well. Kaizer Motaung, when he started Kaizer Chiefs, he was a player.
Yeah.
Then he became that was a trend back in the day.
And his son actually played for his team as well. I think it was Jimmy Matuang.
Kaizer Motaung Jr.
Who was Jimmy? Am I just making things up here?
You talk about Jimmy Tao.
Ah, fuck! I'm making things up here. Okay, sorry. But what did this dream team in Blackpool, like what did the dream team of Giant Blackpool do? Well, what did they really do to revolutionize football?
So what they did, right, is that they, like the management of a club is they segmented it.
Okay.
So for example, you had the guy on the right, on the far right with the black coat. His name is Khaled Passmore.
Okay.
And he's the founder of the team, Blackpool, and he was the manager of the team, like proper like team manager. And then next to him, the white guy in the middle with the sunglasses, that's Philip Efron. He was the financial whiz. He was in charge of the finances of the club. And the gent on the far left, Jeff, he was the PR guy.
He looks like a PR
guy. Yeah. So basically, that's what they did. They understood that, like a club, it's actually a business, right? It's a business, and it needs specialists in those different fields.
Sure.
Yeah. So that's what the A team is, like specialists in different fields, and they were pushing Giant Blackpool, and Giant Blackpool started in the Zambak League. You know Zambak?
I know Zambak. Is that was at the time the 4th division or the 3rd division?
Yes. That's where they started off. So when Philip Efron and Khaled Passmore met, the club was like in the 4th division amateur, and they pulled the team up to the top of the tops, basically, because they were the giant killers. Ask any Chiefs fans about Giant Blackpool, and they'll panic.
Okay, so and also, am I correct in saying that they had it figured out quite well in terms of management, and other teams started to emulate what they were doing?
Yeah, of course. I mean, that's how football works, or evolution works. Like whoever's doing something, like now Liverpool, we're going to be looking at Liverpool, say, hey, what are they doing there?
What's
I
Germany?
know Arsenal should be looking at Liverpool, saying what's happening there.
You said it. You said it. What's
so naturally, that's how other teams are forced to
progress.
Because I mean, look,
yeah.
Imagine if you Kaizer Chiefs and this team comes and beats you in a cup final, which happened, and it did happen. You're always gonna look and be like, or you even buy their players like they did with Shoes Michel. Yeah.
Okay. I see. Okay, I'm gonna go to the next one, BT.
Yes. Oh, so now this is now towards the end of Giant Blackpool, when they had to. So in about 1991, the leadership, or Philip Efron and Khaled Passmore, they wanted out basically of soccer, and they wanted to basically sell the team. Again, football develops, the demands become bigger, and maybe they wanted, they didn't see it going further. So when they decided that, okay, fine, let's call it off, they had to get rid of their assets. So in this case, we've got a whole list of players there.
I see.
That was, eh?
Yeah, I see. Are they all on sale?
Yeah, they were all on sale. And all that money came in cash. Because there's no bank, there's no regulation back then, there was no FIFA or SAFA even.
Okay.
So literally, everything came in bags. Like, that's why you need a financier like Philip Efron, who's able to, go cash that check.
Keep track of the money. Yeah, I see on the list is someone we spoke about last week, Jerry Scorsana.
Yes. So I mean, they produced quite a lot of good players. Giant Blackpool. So Jerry Scorsana is one of them. Gavin Lane, he went to go play for Orlando Pirates.
Well, yeah, I see he's got the highest price tag on the list, 50,000 rand. It must have been in today's money. That's probably what, 500,000 rand.
Yeah, no, it's
add a zero on there.
If not, because I mean, Percy Tau went to England for 40 million.
Really?
Yeah, no, there's money in football, bro. I think I'm playing.
Oh, so okay, 40 million rand. I thought it was 40 million pound. Okay, 40 million rand.
Oh, no, 40
million. Still a lot, which is still a lot.
Yeah. So Gavin Lane was actually a good defender, very good defender. Pirates went on to win the CAF Champions League in '95, and Jerry Scorsana scored the winning goal, and Gavin Lane was very much strong at the back. In fact, they used to call him stability unit. Yeah.
Cool. Should I go? I think we're on the second last one.
Yeah.
Tell us about this one.
So yeah, so Shoes Michel was like the crown jewel of Giant Blackpool. It was a crown jewel because you grew up like as a schoolboy, playing for Giant Blackpool, grew up through the ranks, and he was that good also. I mean, we all know how good he was. So when it was time to sell the assets, it was a matter of like finding the best buyers, and they slapped on a 250K price tag on him. He was in his early 20s, I guess, here, very young. They slapped a 250K tag, take it or leave it. In this case, they were saying, it's peanuts.
Yeah.
And so Chiefs eventually came through with the offer, and that was the record at that time, like 250K. That was the record, which lasted for a good 10 years. And like I said, like the cash used to be, there was no bank transfers here. So that 250K, best believe, came cold hard cash.
Yeah. I'm gonna.
Yeah, so that's Giant Blackpool in all its glory. So can you see the so Shop, they even had Shop as a sponsor. You know Shop, remember Shop, they sponsor Man United.
Yeah.
Yeah, can you see the banner there? It says Shop Blackpool.
Okay, was that the sponsor?
Yeah, so that at this stage they even had Shop.
Amazing.
And oh, so you know Orlando Pirates, they sign as this.
Yeah,
The Chiefs, they're the Love and Peace.
I said Amakosi, I meant Buccaneers, yeah? Amakosi's Love and Peace, yeah?
Yeah. Giant Blackpool was the Eagles have landed.
Okay. Amazing.
So when they they landed here. I don't know who they're gonna beat here, but they landed.
Okay. So yeah, well, I'm keen to have you on again next week and chat more about football. I see that you got a lot of pictures from the archives. I hope you have a few more for next week. Can we count on you?
Yeah, all day, all day. In fact, what I wanted to do was invite these guys to actually speak for themselves.
Okay, cool. Yeah, we'll have them on.
Yeah, because like I said, a lot of the stories are you won't believe me if I say it, and also a lot of the stories are it was Wild Wild West back in the day. Because remember, there was no regulation in our football. There was no FIFA. There was no SAFA. The government wasn't, and it was taking place all in the township, and like big amounts of cash was going on like that. So clearly, it wasn't. It was quite an interesting environment.
Okay,
so
cool.
It'd be nice to have like the legends also like talk about it, their experiences, because I don't want to speak out of turn about stuff.
Yeah. Let's get it straight from the horse's mouth. Let's get it straight from the horse's mouth. Yeah. BT, thank you very much.
I think our next session our next throwback session will have the legends coming in.
Yeah, I'm keen. Get them in, yeah. And let's go back into the archives with the guys themselves. Thank you, BT.
Yes,
yeah, we're going to end it off there. Thank you to the listeners for listening to Juice Ready again. And we'll see you guys again next week. Cheers.
All right, short. Peace out.